If I could ask you to please take your seats so that we can convene the Board of County Commissioners. Good evening and welcome to the September 9th, 2021 first public hearing for the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners budget. We'll start with roll call. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Bernard,
Here.
Mayor Kerner,
Here.
Commissioner Marino,
Here.
Commissioner McKinley, Commissioner Sachs, Vice Mayor Weinroth,
I'm present.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Thank you.
Very good. We do have a quorum with 7 county commissioners present in the chambers here this evening. We'll move now to the agenda. Madam Administrator, are there any amendments to the agenda? Very good. Yes, sir. Oh, my apologies. Please rise for the prayer and pledge of allegiance. We'll start with the prayer. I'm honored to lead. May we approach today's business as a task of faith to do our best within our power to provide positive leadership on behalf of our community and those who live and work here, and that our decisions meet the standards of divine compassion for all. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Mayor, there are no changes to the agenda.
Very good.
Move the agenda.
The motion by Vice Mayor Weinroth, seconded by Commissioner Bernard, to adopt the agenda as published. All in favor, all opposed, that item passes 7-0, and the agenda is adopted as published.
Move to receive and file proof of publication.
There has been proper proof of publication, Madam Administrator.
Yes.
The motion by Vice Mayor Weinroth and seconded by Commissioner Bernard to receive and file proof of publication. All in favor, all opposed, that motion passes 7-0. Under trim, we are first required to read into the record for the percentage increase in millage over rollback rate and specific purposes for ad valorem tax increases. Madam Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. On page 3 of your packet, in accordance with the Truth in Millage Bill, the Board of County Commissioners shall hold hearings on the tentative budget and proposed millage rates. As stipulated in the trim bill, the first substantive issue to discuss shall be the percentage increase in the millage over the rollback rate necessary to fund the budget, if any, and the specific purpose for which ad valorem tax revenues are being increased. On page 4, Palm Beach County, page 4 reflects Palm Beach County countywide proposed millage rate of 4.7815 is 4.13% over rollback rate. Palm Beach County Library District proposed millage rate of 0.5491 is 4.25% over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU proposed millage rate of 3.4581 is 4.60% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote of the board. Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire MSTU proposed millage rate of 1.7880 is 1.62% below the rollback rate. Palm Beach County Aggregate proposed millage rate of 6.5835 is 2.80% over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County-wide voted debt millage rate is 0.0334. Palm Beach County Library voted debt millage rate is 0.0333. The increases over rollback revenue are as follows. Countywide sheriff net tax increase is $33.1 million. Increase in other constitutional officers include judicial, $6.8 million. Increase in BCC operations net of revenues is $25.4 million. Decrease in non-departmental operations, negative $242,000. Increase in reserves, $14 million. Increase in major and other revenue, a negative $11 million. Increase in capital projects, $2 million. Increase in debt service, $2 million. Decrease in other funding sources, $18.2 million. Increase in the beginning balance brought forward, $33.9 million negative. Additional taxes. Okay. Is that not what I said? 2 million, 2 million. I'm sorry. Obviously, I've got the wrong one, so I'm going to start over
Very
for the
good.
record. Okay. Increase over rollback revenue, fiscal year 2022.
Just let her do her job.
Countywide sheriff net tax increase is 33.1 million. Increase in other constitutional officers, including judicial, 6.8 million. Increase in BCC operations net of revenues, 23.1. Decrease in non-departmental operations, negative 741,000. Increase in reserves, 15.1 million. Increase major and other revenues, a negative 11 million. Increase in capital projects, 2 million. Increase in debt service, 2 million. Decrease in other funding sources, 3 million. Increase in the beginning balance brought forward, a negative 17 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustment, and tax loss from revaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, a negative 14.2 million, for a total of $42,157,148. County Library, increase in library operations net of revenues, 4 million. Decrease in reserves, 1.3 million. Increase for transfer to library improvement expansion fund, that's 400,000. Decrease in the beginning balance brought forward, 257,000. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate and tax loss from revaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, a negative 771,000, for a total increase of $2,638,432. Fire Rescue MSTU, increase in fire rescue operations net revenues, 19.8 million. Increase for transfer of capital projects fund, 1.7 million. Increase in reserves, 4.6 million. Increase in beginning balance brought forward, a negative 8 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustment, and tax loss from revaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, a negative 4.3 million, for a total increase of $13,768,290.
Would you please repeat that number?
$13,786,290. Thank you. Jupiter Fire MSTU, decrease in fire operation, net of revenues, a negative 224,000. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate and tax loss from revaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, a negative 143,000, for a negative total of the fund, a negative $367,325. On page 6 and 7 of your budget packet, it contains budget briefing and highlights that includes proposed transfer and amendments to our 2022 tentative budget. Those highlights are, this is the 11th consecutive year the countywide budget is balanced at a current rate of 4.7815 mils, which requires a simple majority vote of the board. Other than the amendments included in this package, there are no other proposed changes. Total gross budget is $6 billion, of which $1.7 billion is the general fund. General fund appropriated reserves are $189.7 million, up $14 million over 2021. The budget includes 3% across the board adjustment and a net increase of 82 new BCC positions, of which 7 are ad valorem funded and the remaining 75 are non-ad valorem. There is a schedule of positions on page 31. Compensation study increases. This is phase 2 of the Evergreen study. It is $3.2 million. Ad valorem new capital funding of $41 million, primarily for renewal and replacement projects. and then $75,000 for the community ID program. On pages 8 and 9, it contains a summary of proposed transfer and amendments. The transfers and amendments do not result in an increased property tax. Mayor. back to
Very good, thank you, Madam Administrator. The next order of business is to accept public comments on the total countywide funds budget, dependent district budgets, and proposed budget amendments. Commissioner Bernard, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first person will be Don Herman, followed by Sarah Phillips.
Thank you. To the members of the public that will be speaking, your comments are very much appreciated. They will be limited to 3 minutes and must be, the comments must pertain to the items before the board, which is generally the budget for this fiscal year.
Hi, I'm Dawn Herman. I just want to address the budget and as increasing funds to ACC, Animal Care and Control, for the purposes of doing T and VR surgeries, which is the trap, neuter, vaccinate, return for cats. Me and my partners, my secretary here, I'm the president of Truly All Cats Trapping and Rescue, when we formed this rescue because we realized there was a great need in this county for trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return, and also for fostering the stray cats and kittens that are the result of community cats, feral cats, and such. So, a little over a year ago, I started trapping. They've been doing it much longer, but there's plenty of requests on Facebook for people asking for help for trapping cats and getting them fixed so they stop having kittens. Many from Community Cats of the Palm Beaches, many different Facebook pages. So, and these were from rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods. They were for feral cats and for friendly cats. So last year, because of COVID, all the T and VR surgeries in the spring of 2020 were shut down at ACC and at Peggy Adams, which is also a place we can get this done. So this led to an explosion in the cat population. Okay, so a female kitten can get pregnant at 4 months of age, and on an average, she will have a litter every 5 months. So say in a litter of 6 kittens, and maybe only 4 will survive because many kittens die because the mom has no vet care, no proper nutrition, or clean water. So say that 2 survive that are female. In 4 months, those kittens will have kittens. And the mother will have another litter herself, and so on and so forth. And since it's always kitten season in Florida because of our nice warm weather, this is going to lead to an exponential growth in the population. And so now all the shelters and the rescues are overrun with cats and kittens being brought in for surrender. And many of these are sick and injured because of the conditions I said before. So when T and VR surgeries finally resumed, it was at a fraction of what it was before. So now Peggy Adams only does 100 surgeries a week, 50 on Monday and 50 on Tuesday, and ACC only does 50 a week. So this equals out to approximately 800 a month, which sounds like a lot, until you go out into the field and you start trapping with us and seeing what is actually out there. We could trap every night and get plenty of cats, and we always find kittens every time we go out. And a lot of these, like I said, are sick and injured. So to go back to, in 2019, ACC Space Shuttle, which is, they do the T and VR surgery, they only did 812 surgeries for the whole year, and that's what Peggy Adams now does in 6 weeks. And the number of surgeries in the shelter for surrendered cats was only 2,018. So, from what I understand, there are 2 surgery suites. The max capacity for one of the suites is 30 cats per day, 3 days a week, and 2 days for dogs. And then the other one is 40 to 50 cats per day, 3 days a week, and 2 days for dogs.
Ma'am, your time has expired, but we do have a
Okay,
question. If you
sorry.
wanted.
No, so my point is, it would make more sense to allocate funds for T and VR and to recruiting more vets and compensating those vets so that we can get more surgeries done, and that way we don't have to spend so much money on sheltering these cats that are being surrendered.
All right, good, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner McKinley, then Commissioner Weiss.
Mayor, if it's okay, can we let Commissioner Weiss, our resident cat expert, go first, and I'll follow him?
Of course. Commissioner Weiss.
I just wanted to thank you for the work that you're doing, and to let you know, actually, we have 6 foster kittens in our house right now. We foster for Peggy Adams, and but And we're aware of the problem, and obviously with what happened last year with COVID and shutting everything down, obviously had an impact. But I did have a conversation with Rich Anderson over at Peggy Adams, and he thinks that they're going to be able to ramp up additional surgeries. And the other thing I learned about was with the mobile clinic, the issue they have is the space inside the little, or the van for recovery, and that really limits them. So it turns out that it's much more effective and productive if they can get the cats brought into the facility rather than taking it out. Although I know we're also getting ready to open up another facility out in the western community as well. That'll be able to provide TNVR out in the Glades area. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Weiss. Commissioner McKinley.
Thank you, and that's why I had him go first. I know this is coming to us in a near future board meeting, but Ms. Baker, or if Issa May is here, could you briefly discuss what we're looking at doing out in the Glades? It's been one of the issues. We haven't really been able to provide services to that community for a lack of space. So maybe just a very quick snapshot of what it is we're trying to do.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. We are right now in the process of working with the state in moving forward an application to request a lease assignment for a building located in Pahokee that is currently vacant, and that, based on the evaluation we have completed, we believe can be reused and repurposed to co-locate an ACC operation and the PBSO District 12. So that's what we are working towards. That will then allow our public safety colleagues to restart the operations and the services they provide in the western communities.
Thank you, Issa May. And for the animal advocates here in the room, if you could reach out to the elected officials in the city of Pahokee and let them know that you would support doing something like that in the community to benefit not just Pahokee, but the entire Glades region, that would certainly be appreciated. There's a little pushback there from some folks who don't think that that is a need. And just want to thank my colleague, Commissioner Weiss, for everything he does. I have been very, very tempted to take one of those kittens off his hand. But my son recently rescued a cat and named her Puppy. It's a little confusing. She's having an identity crisis, but we're working on that. But thank you for your advocacy, and I also hope that with the renovations we're making at the facility in West Palm Beach, that that will factor into being able to provide better services, or increased services.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner McKinley. Commissioner Bernard, you recognized for further public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have Sarah Phillips, followed by Kayla Hunter.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Phillips. I'm a volunteer with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. Our mission is to prevent gun violence. The economic cost of gun violence in America comes with a staggering price tag of $280 billion a year, or $34.8 million a day. Gun violence costs Florida $20.2 billion each year, of which $855 million is paid by taxpayers. Palm Beach County ranks third in the state for gun deaths. Between the years 2015 and 2019, there were a total of 903 gun deaths. The average gun fatality cost taxpayers $270,399. So between 2015 and 2019, Palm Beach County taxpayers paid an estimated $244 million. Included in these costs are time of incident costs, first responders, treatments, healthcare, criminal justice costs. This does not include costs associated with gun injuries that do not result in death. From 2010 to 2019, gun deaths in Florida increased 10%, and gun homicides increased by 21%. Our problem is not getting better. It's getting worse, and it's costing us money and lives. Research shows the most effective ways of reducing the cost of gun violence is not cutting the cost of the aftermath of gun violence, but preventing gun violence before it occurs. We strongly urge you to fund proven community-based violence intervention and prevention programs that will help reduce gun violence in Palm Beach County. I would like to share with you tonight 2 organizations in our community that are doing this incredible work. The first is MAMA, Mothers Against Murderers Association, founded and run by Miss Angela Williams. For 16-plus years, MAMA has provided a variety of services to bereaved mothers of children killed by gun violence. Angela is typically called to the crime scene by the police, where she provides crucial assistance to police in helping to maintain order so police can do their investigation. She helps to comfort the bereaved family, arranges for a proper burial, eases financial burden through donations, and maintains open-door comfort 24/7 free counseling services. She goes to the hospitals and prisons, counsels families to prevent retaliatory violence. Mama is doing the work. The only thing missing is meaningful financial support to sustain and build Mama so Angela is able to maintain and expand her services. I would like to highlight She Success Incorporated. Kayla Hunter, She's founder, is no stranger to gun violence. Her 7-year-old nephew, Dexter Ferguson, was taken by gun violence last spring in Riviera Beach. Kayla funnels her energy by giving back to her community. She is a mentoring program for young girls in need. In their 2 years, they have doubled their mentees, and she would love to add more, but she simply does not have the funds. She is turning these lives around. She is a bright light to these young women in crisis. She focuses on reestablishing self-esteem, self-empowerment, self-efficiency in young women that will become productive contributors for society. We ask that you budget for $1 million for these violence interruption programs, a fraction of what gun violence costs Palm Beach County annually, and create a liaison position to assist with the dispersing of these funds.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Commissioner McKinley, you're recognized.
Yeah, I want to thank this organization for being here. We don't often have, well, we do, but people don't associate this organization for the prevention work that they're trying to do in mental health and other prevention efforts. I want to thank you, Ms. Phillips, and your organization for reaching out to me and asking to have that conversation shortly, very shortly after the horrible shooting that occurred at the Publix in my district earlier this year. You know, the evidence showed that that was senseless. There was no familial relationship there. It was a random act of violence resulting in the tragic loss of life. And I certainly support what it is you're asking us to consider. I don't know that we can find that $1 million tonight. I think there might be some opportunities to engage in conversation about other programs that we have that those organizations might be eligible to apply for. And I'm looking at Tammy Fields and our financially assisted agency process, and I'm not sure where we are in this cycle, but there's violence prevention, there's mental health and substance use, there's homelessness, addressing that. They're, of course, all interlinked. Senior services, and she's got different categories of funding that becomes available on a rotating basis. And so I think that you and those two organizations that you mentioned should connect with Ms. Fields and begin having some of those conversations. You may have had some of them already, but let's keep that going. And I'm not sure if you paid attention, or sorry, I shouldn't have said it that way. If you were watching our meeting last week where the Criminal Justice Commission just rolled out, and our Mayor Kerner is on that CJC, just rolled out a pretty robust violence prevention initiative that we're pretty proud of, and I'd like to see how that works moving forward. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you've done. You have been one organization that has moved the needle on this issue, and we, as a fellow mom, certainly appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner McKinley. Commissioner Sacks, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, and just want to add that I thank you for your actions and passion after the Parkland tragedy. You were there on the streets working with everybody to make sure that those types of gun violence would never occur again. Your voices have been heard. Whatever we can do to promote your purpose, we will try our very best to do. Thank you for your passion and your action. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Sacks.
Mr. Mayor, the next person will be Kayla Hunter.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hunter Lyons. I am the founder and president of She Success Incorporated, She being an acronym for Striving to Help Empower Success. We are a non-for-profit organization for teenage girls at ages 12 through 18. How we became established was we noticed that there is, and I think you all know, there is a high increase in violence and teen deaths that are occurring in our local communities. And so we have oftentimes people miscount our children and they just dismiss them. Well, She Success, we are actually offering hope to these young ladies. We're trying to give them another reflection, another direction in life. So what we try to do is we focus on an array of workshops, different types of empowerment sessions. We deal with conflict resolutions, job training, and so forth to help them make better decisions for themselves, to build their confidence, and not just themselves, but in other people, because a lot of times our youth have issues trusting others. And so we have had some successes since being in establishment where we've had runaways that were running away prior to becoming a part of She Success. Well, I'm happy to say that since joining our organization, that runaway has now remained home, and her and mom are now in therapy counseling. We partner with other therapists, life coaches, and so forth. So what am I here for today? We need your help. These ladies need your help. We're trying to establish a building of our own. On top of that is everything is in-kind donations. So we are limited as to how much we can offer to these young ladies. Although we do believe in going far above and beyond, it still requires a restraint. So we're turning to the community, we're turning to you all, and even the churches to see what can we do to be able to offer. We had a young lady that did not even care any longer about high school, and so when she joined our organization, she was like literally 12th grader that was not classified as a 12th grader. Well, we was able to see her walk. Well, not due to COVID, but we was able to witness her walking. We got her, the guidance counselor, her mother, all together, and we were able to do certain things that will help her advance in classes and to give her hope, give her a reason to want to go to school. She didn't think there was no reason for her to go to school. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to be able to offer this assistance to other young ladies in the communities. And so that's why we're here today. We need your help. The community. We need the help of the community.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Kayla, I want to thank you for being here. You filled out your card, but you didn't put any information, so would love for you to include your information so in that way someone from my office would contact you so we can talk and see how we can help. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner McKinley.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Ms. Baker, after our final budget hearing, hopefully you've got the direction you need on spending those federal dollars. And one of the allocations that we've set aside of those federal dollars is for mental health issues. And if we can make sure that we reach out to these organizations and include them at the table when we put the plan together on how we spend those dollars, then something I'd like to see happen.
Thank you, Commissioner McKinley. Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have 2 public comment cards. I think they're in relation to animal care and control, if we can receive and file them.
Very good. That has been distributed to the members of the board and will receive and file without objection. That will conclude the public comment portion of today's hearing. Speaking on behalf of the board, I want to thank the members of the public and community at large for attending this hearing tonight. I do believe I speak on behalf of the board when I tell or inform you that your comments to us are very important, and oftentimes constituents and members of the public feel like elected officials don't want to hear or don't listen to what needs to be said from members of the public. We are members of the public. We live in your communities. We are your neighbors, and we greatly appreciate your commitment to the community at large and your time here tonight, and we hope you'll take this opportunity to continue to work with the board individually and at large, because your issues are our issues and vice versa. So thank you very much for being here tonight. We'll return to the board for discussion on the countywide funds and proposed countywide millage rate. Are there comments by members of the board? Commissioner McKinley, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just, one item that I'd like an update on that's kind of happened between our last hearing on this and tonight. was the results of a safety study that I had asked the Florida Department of Transportation to do on State Road 729, State Market Road. They did a 3-hour safety review that's out in the Pahokee area. It's got a county road, city road involvement, and of course, state road involvement. The DOT has made a list of issues and recommendations. Some of them involve county partnership. Some of them we may need to, when you're talking about school flashing lights and protective crosswalks and street signs, maybe something that we could do if the city of Pahokee isn't doing it. In any event, I'd like this document to be reviewed by the county engineer's office prior to our next public hearing to see if there's any financial assistance we can do to speed up these repairs. And if not in the budget, adding any items to the budget, at least within the current budget.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner McKinley. That concludes comments by members of the board. Vice Mayor Weinroth, you recognize for motion.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to make a motion to approve certain budget transfers and amendments to those countywide funds as more specifically set forth on pages 10 through 37 of today's September 9th, 2021 public hearing budget document. Such transfers and amendments totaling $63,173,298.
The motion to approve certain budget transfers and amendments, seconded by Vice Mayor Weinroth, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. Further comments? All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0. Vice Mayor Weinroth, you recognize for motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County's countywide tentative millage of 4.7815, which is 4.13% over the rolled back rate of 4.5917, and the countywide voted debt millage rate of 0.0334.
Vice Mayor Weinroth has made a motion to adopt the Palm Beach County countywide tentative millage, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0. Vice Mayor Weinroth, you recognize for motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County countywide tentative budgets of $5,148,889,479.
I have a different number. I'm sorry.
Am I using an old one, or?
No, I think you just got a number wrong.
Yeah, it was 400.
I'm going to read it again, I'm sorry. When we get into the billions, sometimes
Yeah.
I have some problems. $5,141,889,479.
Vice Mayor Weinroth has made a motion to approve the Palm Beach County countywide tentative budget, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. There's no further comments. All in favor? All opposed? That item motion passes 7-0. We'll return to the board for discussion on the library district.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Library District tentative millage of .05491, which is 4.25% over the rollback rate of 0.5267, and the Palm Beach County Library District voted debt millage rate of 0.033.
Commissioner Bernard, would you mind restating that motion? I think we got one of the decimals wrong.
Mr. Mayor, since I'm a dollarnaire and I don't have all these, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Library District tentative millage of 0.5491, which is 4.25% over the rolled back rate of 0.5267, and the Palm Beach County Library District voted debt millage rate of 0.0333.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard to adopt the Palm Beach County Library District tentative millage, seconded by Vice Mayor Weinroth. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Library District tentative budgets of $150,712,412.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard to adopt the Palm Beach County Library District tentative budget, seconded by Vice Mayor Weinroth. Further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0. We'll return to the board now for discussion on the municipal service taxing district.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County MSTD tentative budget of $54,230,079.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Weiss to adopt the Palm Beach County MSTD tentative budget, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0. We'll return to the board for discussion on the fire rescue MSTU.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative millage of 3.4581, which is 4.6% over the rolled back rate of 3.3059.
We have a motion by Commissioner McKinley, seconded by Commissioner Weiss to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative millage. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative budgets of $607,103,899.
We have a motion by Commissioner McKinley to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative budget, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? That item passes 7-0. We'll return to the board for discussion of the Jupiter Fire MSTU.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Jupiter MSTU tentative millage of 1.7880, which is 1.26% below. What did I say? Jeez, oh,
You can
which
restate
is
the motion.
1.62% below the rolled back rate of 1.8174.
Is there a second? We have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Marino, seconded by Commissioner Bernard to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative millage of 1.7880, which is 1.62 below the rolled back rate of 1.8174. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That item passes 7-0.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire MSTU tentative budget of $21,463,216.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Marino to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire MSTU tentative budget, seconded by Commissioner Weiss. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0. We'll return now to the board for discussion on the MSTU unincorporated improvement fund.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County MSTU unincorporated improvement fund budget of $13,810,248.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Weiss and seconded by Vice Mayor Weinroth to adopt the Palm Beach County MSTU unincorporated improvement fund budget. No further discussion. All in favor? All opposed? That motion passes 7-0.
Mr. Mayor? Oh,
You're recognized.
well, you have to go to you next.
We'll now move to adoption of the tentative aggregate millage rate.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County tentative aggregate millage of 6.5835, which is 2.80% over the rolled back rate of 6.4039.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard and seconded by Vice Mayor Weinroth to adopt the Palm Beach County tentative aggregate millage of 6.5835. No further comments. All in favor? All opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Would the members of the board like time for commissioner comments? Very good. Well, that concludes today's first public hearing on the budget. Any further comments by members of the professional staff administration?
Just like to thank the board, staff, and for presenting information that met your strategic goals.
Very good. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since this is the 20th anniversary of September 11th, would love for you to do a moment of silence in remembrance.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Bernard, for that recognition. And before we rise, I just wanted to take a moment to say that I've had the honor of serving in this position for some time, but and we've had quite an experience throughout these last 2 years, but one of the most meaningful opportunities for me will be able to preside on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners during the September 11th, 20th anniversary this Saturday, and I'll be attending various events, as we all will be, I'm sure. But certainly, it is a moment, I can't believe that 20 years has passed. I know that we all remember where we were when that moment happened, and we started to learn that our country was under attack. And now, 20 years later, we can debate what's been good or bad since then, but we can all agree that we still grieve the loss of the victims of 9/11. We grieve the loss of the members of the military and first responders, and that we will take time out of our lives on this 20th anniversary. And it's an honor to be able to do that on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners. So if you'll please join me in rising for a moment of silence. Thank you very much for that moment of silence. Thank you for your time here tonight. The Board of County Commissioners is adjourned.